Good afternoon. You are in time for the Lunchtime News. A very warm welcome to the broadcast. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. On sign language interpretation, we have Brian Muraru. Let's interact on all our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. This as the presidential tour in the Gusii region enters day 2. We have able team on the ground. We'll be crossing over live once they advise so. The impeachment motion against Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza is set to be canvassed tomorrow in special sitting by the Senate. The Senate, who are currently on a short recess, will convene to either set up a committee to probe the allegations against her and table their findings, or opt to probe the allegations against her through plenary. This will be the third time she will appear before the Senate to defend herself against the impeachment charges since she assumed office 24 months ago.
This year, the Senate finds itself once more immersed in the murky waters of the political matrix in Meru. On Thursday, 40 out of 60 members of the Meru County Assembly approved a motion tabled by Deputy Majority Leader Zipporah Kenya to impeach Governor Kawira Mwangaza over accusations of abuse of office and gross violation of the Constitution. Despite invalidating 2 impeachment motions that landed on the floor of the Senate, senators will tomorrow convene for yet another special session to hear the new charges against Mwangaza. If the Senate opts to set up an 11-member ad hoc committee to hear the charges against her, the committee will have 10 days to probe and report back to Senate, with a report recommending the upholding or the rejection of the impeachment. A plenary hearing will last for 2 days, and senators will deliver their verdict thereafter. This comes amidst calls for the president to invoke relevant articles of the Constitution and dissolve the county, owing to the unending wrangles between the county executive and the county legislature. John Jacob Curia, Lunchtime News.
Thank you, Curia. We now move to the county of Kisii, where President William Ruto is in the region. My colleague Abdi Haziz Hashim is on that bit. Abdi, good afternoon. Abdi, if you can hear me, good afternoon.
Well, Irene, we're still here in Nyamira County, where the president has just left. He has headed to 2 new projects that he'll be launching, including a road in this particular area. Now, the president here has assured the residents of Nyamira County that they'll be able to get affordable housing under the program. You do know it is a very crucial program under the Better program. Now, the president has assured these residents also that they will be getting 17 new markets, not just in Kisii, but in Nyamira as well. You do know that the second day of the president's tour in Gusii land started yesterday, where he decided, or rather he announced to residents of Kisii and Nyamira, as well as the whole country, that the government of Kenya has entered into various agreements, memorandums of understanding with the countries in Asia as well as the Arabian Peninsula, just to ensure various key sectors in the country are booming, including the education sector that received a boost yesterday with 1.4 billion being given by the Kuwait government so that the schools in this particular area, the Gusii area, especially Nyamira and Kisii, it can be well furnished. Now, the president currently this morning had started his journey at the Nyaribari Chache Cancer Center, which is near the Kisii school, where the president launched the center, stating that the Kenyan government has entered into an agreement with Saudi, where attuned to 2 billion Kenya shillings has been invested in the facility. Now, the facility will join among the other facilities that have been opened in Eldoret as well as Nairobi. Now, Kisii rather, will have that particular cancer center. And of course, in this particular housing program that we're currently at here in Nyamira County, it will see 270 houses being built, with the government targeting 10,000 houses under this particular program. Now, just a quick rundown of what the president will be doing later on, given that it has not ended here today. Now, here it is a Cambo, the affordable housing in Keroka, and earlier on we saw him at the Keroka Level 4 Hospital, where he opened up for the first time the facility, urging members of the public as well as the county and the residents to ensure that that facility is up to par so that they can realize the universal healthcare program. The president also currently he's headed to Sambogo Road, Marani. He's going to launch it there and then finally finish it off by commissioning of Darajambili, and of course did what he did yesterday by meeting leaders at Kisii State Lodge. And now that is the itinerary. But the president today, what has come out from his various stops, he has urged members of the public to support the current government that has been formed under the broad-based government. You do know that the new cabinet includes members of the opposition, especially from the ODM party, with the president urging that those people who are not in support of this particular broad-based government should come on board and support it, because he was clearly stating that you need to shun off tribal politics as well as drawing ethical lines. But the residents as well here have been urging the president to at least ensure, despite the finance bill of 2024 being withdrawn, to ensure that all the promises are kept. We're still keeping tabs with the president. Tomorrow, before I take you back to studio, let me give you the itinerary of tomorrow, where the president will be heading over. We'll be starting over in Kisii County in Ogembo Town for the affordable housing program, and then heading over to Nyaboisi, Nduru, Matanga, Naro Road in South Mugirango, and then the last mile connectivity in Mokoma Village in Kababe, Raisuta, South Mugirango, as well as Kieni Road. That is where he'll conclude his trip, Kieni Road in Borabu constituency. Now that is the itinerary of the president, crisscrossing between these two great counties of Gusii, and of course we'll be updating you as and when we get more information. Back to you, Irene.
Thank you, Abdi. Abdi Aziz Hashim giving us the updates from Nyamira. This as the president is in the Gusii region for a 3-day tour. This as he emphasized the need for development in the country. In other news, a Mombasa court has been informed that the prosecution in Paul Ndege Mackenzie and 94 others case is ready and has lined up 422 witnesses to prove 238 counts of manslaughter in the Shakahola killings. Chief Magistrate Alex Ithuku further had that besides the testimonies of the witnesses, the DPP will table electronic and other exhibits to firm up the case.
Paul Mackenzie case will now be heard from 12th to 15th August 2024 and 9th to 12th September 2024 respectively. The court reiterated to parties that the proceeding will be uninterrupted and conducted on the day-to-day basis to accord justice to all parties, including Mackenzie and his co-accused, who have been denied bond.
The accused persons collectively agreed to engage in starvation or fasting, among other extreme practices, leading to the loss of over 429 lives in a manner that depicted direct and indirect suicide pacts between them aimed at such loss of lives.
Elsewhere, Milimani's magistrate court was given a detailed account of how 3 suspects conspired to defraud Shure Construction Company 44 million shillings by issuing a forged award letter for tender at Oka Agricultural College. The second prosecution witness, a driver Abdi Shukri Mohamed Guyo, further told trial magistrate Wandia Nyamu that he recorded the video of the suspects being given money by his boss at a hotel in Kakamega and also at his office in Nairobi.
Sasa ile tulifika Kakamega, mzee alikutana na wale na wajua tu ni Zuber na Duncan na Mbuche na walikuwa watano. Walikutana na hawa Kakamega town.
However, during cross-examination, the suspect's lawyers, led by Sam Onyango, poked holes on his former duties at the company.
Kutaka mtu wote aione. Kwa sababu umeficha hata ni wapi ilikuwa inachukuliwa usivyo.
Video yenyewe ikichukuliwa
kisiri,
hakuna nafasi ile utapata ya kuweka ya kuchukua hiyo ofisi yote unasema.
Oh, unaweza songa nyuma hata uchukue jina ya hiyo ofisi.
Haiwezi.
The hearing will continue from November 4th, where more witnesses are expected to testify. And ourselves from Kawangware, Violet Ndukweli Jodi has admitted to stealing and selling her employer's gold ring worth 600,000 shillings in Irunda and Nairobi. Appearing before trial, Magistrate Rose Ndombi Ndukwe pleaded for leniency, saying she sold the gold ring to Francis Mwema at 4,000 shillings to treat her sick father. The court directed that a sentencing report be availed in court and the second accused be released on a cash bail.
Jodi will make an order for the sentencing report for the second accused person. Considering the value of the subject matter, will grant a bond of Kenya shillings 1 million with a surety of similar amount.
Ruth Wamboy for Lunchtime News.
Orange Democratic Movement Party officials from Isiolo County have faulted the recent appointments of opposition in the President William Ruto's broad-based government, saying their region was neglected. They now want party leader Raila Odinga to propose the region in future appointments. Led by Isiolo County ODM branch chairperson Ali Hassan and Secretary General Dhahabo Daudi, the officials, however, hailed the party for picking Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga as national chairperson and called for consideration of women in more future appointments to the government for gender equality. They said the appointment of the opposition leaders to government focused in the Western Nyanza and Coast regions.
Hapa Isiolo pia tunataka representative ambaye wanaweza kutuwakilisha kwa hiyo meza ya national level. Hizo keki unakata saa hizi, sisi pia tunataka kuionja tukiwa hapa Isiolo.
Sisi kama wakazi wa Isiolo ndio tumesimama hapa kusema ya kwamba kwa sababu tumeona sehemu zile umekumbuka kama Coast, umekumbuka kama Western, umekumbuka kama Nyanza, hapa Eastern pia tunataka kukumbukwa.
This move would also align with the principles outlined in both the Azimio and UDA Women's Charter, which emphasizes gender equality, representation of women in leadership, and the upliftment of women from all regions, particularly marginalized areas.
Part in the country's politics and push for good governance from the regional to the national level. Pamoja African Alliance Party Secretary General Lucas Maitha says joining political parties is one such way of ensuring the voices of the demographic are heard. Maitha spoke during a youth engagement forum at the Methodist Hall in Mombasa County, where he called for the youth inclusion in government, noting the future of the country is in their hands.
The real change will be you youth people join a political movement. That is the real revolution, Sasa. You go and influence things.
This country depends on you. But you cannot operate in a vacuum. You have to operate in a political structure, defined.
Parents have been urged to detect, choose, and nurture career pathways of their children at the early age. Education stakeholders who spoke during the launch of Gravity Career Pathways and Career Model Structure Training in Nairobi also challenged teachers to take advantage of the August holiday to take up retooling programs with an aim to equip themselves with more knowledge on CBC system of education. They spoke during an induction and learning exercise of parents and teachers at the Gravity CBC Center.
I would say that let them not dictate to the learners on the career pathways that these children should take. The parents also let the learners be in a position to identify their career pathways the way we have seen here, because the moment we do it that way, we do not have many who will be falling out because of having selected the long career.
Let us not put the learners in a path and then they have to choose which careers they can do from that path. We should actually start from the back end, where we ask ourselves, what are the careers that optimize the learner's interest, ability, and potential.
Clapping.
Busia County Governor Dr. Paul Otuoma has put on notice the County Water Department and the Busia Water and Sewer Company to ensure water supply is restored in the region. This follows an outcry from residents owing to the acute water shortage for over a month that has seen them face challenges in accessing clean domestic water.
Notice that it cannot be business as usual. We brought in a new team with a lot of expectation that the residents of Busia will be able to get water. But this seems not to be happening, and we are putting it under notice, and we are saying all those recommendations, we don't need even recommendations from the Senate. We just need organizations to do their work. So despite the challenges, we are trying to put in place a measure that will enable us to be able to deliver water services to the people of Busia.
Communities living around Gikomba and Eastleigh areas in Nairobi County have initiated a waste management program that is set to combat the escalating waste disposal menace in the areas. In the initiative, community-based organizations' representatives have partnered with Journey Solutions and Kenya Platform for Climate Governance to educate locals on how to turn waste into wealth through circular economy model. Additionally, the initiative will help in curbing health complications emanating from improper disposal of hazardous water.
Segregation inatusaidia sana sisi kama wazoaji taka, ndio tuweze kuenda pia katika jamii na tuelimishe wale watu ambao tunawahudumia kwamba hivi na hivi na hivi ndo kunafanywa.
In the middle of between Gikomba and Eastleigh, in the river, as you see, there are so many straps, and these straps, what happens to the straps? They hold the waste that are moving, yeah? So the river cannot flow well. But if we know what we can do with those straps, if we find ways of disposing or having a circularity in that strap, then we'll not have this.
Youth in Meru County have been urged to use opportunities available in the community to commit themselves to self-employment. This comes after more than 700 young people graduated in a digital skills course that will help promote businesses online. Speaking during the celebrations at the county woman representative of Meru, Elizabeth Kailemia, said young people should overly rely on government for opportunities. The program was based on this year's theme of using technology to create opportunities.
Msingoje MP, msingoje DCC ama CC akuje achenji. Gen Z ndio watachange na kazi yao ya mkono yao. Sio kusema serikali saidia, ni serikali gani anakuja kukusaidia. Utajisaidia wewe mwenyewe, and that's why we are here, kukushika mkono tuende pamoja.
Tulipata the education from the INET program na tukaanzisha tukasoma about the business plan. Now we have a business plan ya kuanzisha the pig rearing, since pale Mikidori we have a shortage of pigs, and now tunafanya the contribution and our group is registered.
Survivors of the Wednesday night devastating landslide in Chebogal village, Baringo North constituency, narrated the harrowing ordeal they went through that left 5 people, others homeless, as their houses were destroyed. The affected residents, currently taking refuge at Kasisit Primary School, are calling on the government to relocate them to safer ground.
Barely a week after a catastrophic landslide struck Chebogal village in Baringo North constituency, leading to the loss of 5 people, residents recounted the moments of the tragedy. Monica Litey described in great detail the frightening scenes when the ground shook violently.
Nikasikia boma ingine wanalia. Mama mwingine anaitwa Mama Margaret Rotich na watoto yake wawili wanasema uniokoe. Kupiga hapo kwa hiyo boma kwa Samuel Jesora, watoto wawili na mama yao walikuwa chini ya mchanga. Walikuwa wamefunikwa. Mimi nikaanza kushika hawa. Hawa walikuwa tu wamepaka na vichwa tu peke yake. Lakini miti ya nyumba ilikuwa imefunika pande hiyo yote mpaka shingo tu inabaka. Nikaokoa hawa mama yao na watoto wawili. Pata hawa wakuja watoke nje hivi, nikaanza kukimbia kwa boma nyingine kuita majirani.
Lona Kibet, another survivor, narrated how she escaped death by a whisker as she fled from her mud-encased home to a nearby house.
Sasa kuna matope yenye iliingia kabisa nyumba kubwa sana, ikasukuma kitanda ya watoto. Nikapitisha watoto kwa dirisha. Kufika nje, kentangi kaanguka. Kuanguka tukakimbia kwa gogo. Kukimbia kwa gogo, kufika kwa gogo kukaa chini tukasikia nduru. Ndiye pasinya wako chini. Kukimbia kuangalia ni mama na wasichana wake wawili wamefunikwa na mchanga.
The disaster has had a devastating impact on Zakayo Ruto, who lost his wife and 2 sons in the landslide. Only his 2 daughters survived.
Ilipata mama na vijana yangu wawili. Mtoto ya class 5 na kijana ya form 1. Na ya ndugu yangu form 3.
Currently, the survivors are taking refuge at Kasisit Primary School and are urgently appealing to the government for resettlement.
Ruto wetu mwenye tulikupea kura, utusaidie kwenda. Utusaidie. Tunalia kwa uchungu. Mahali penye tunaishi is very dangerous.
Huko sisi aturuti tena. Aturuti. Kama tumetoka sahi aturuti, tutaishi hapa shule mpaka serikali atuambie ya kwamba tutaenda wapi.
Na wachukue Kipchoge liwe sehemu ya forest na watafutia pale pengine pasuri. Maana kama imepasuka sahi tuko na hofu ya kwamba pengine itaanza kuporomoka kama vile imeporomoka.
During a visit to the disaster site, Area Member of Parliament Joseph Makilap called on the government to provide alternative land for the victims, stressing the critical need for immediate action for their safety.
Tumekubaliana na serikali kwamba watu ambao wanaishi sehemu ile dangerous, sababu watu ya geology wamesema sehemu hiyo ni mbaya. Serikali itafanya kila juhudi na ile wizara ya Kenya Forest Service ili waweze kufanya ile kitu inaitwa land exchange na Kenya Forest Service, ndio sehemu hiyo yote tupandie miti na hawa watu ya hapa waweze kusaidiwa pale nyingine ya kuishi kama Wakenya wengine.
Ben Chumba, Lunchtime News.
The land tussle pitting the directors of Oka Agricultural Institute and its members have taken a different twist, with a section of the directors accusing some individuals of claiming ownership of the institute, which has since made changes in the management of the institution. The group has revealed that certain individuals are harassing tenants, affecting their day-to-day business. They have called on those who are not in agreement with the decision made to challenge in court instead of harassing tenants. This even as they called on the county and national government to intervene and ensure punitive action is taken against the culprits.
This is to notify everyone that Oka has reformed itself and has changed management, and notice is given to everybody that there is new management, and any such who has any contention has leeway to pursue the same in the courts of law. And therefore, it is official, and for purposes of record and for purposes of the public, that is the current position of Oka Agricultural Institute, which owns several properties, including but not limited to the one upon which we are addressing you from.
We are the rightful owners of this organization, and therefore we have no other time to wait for any other person to come and manage this place. We have declared, we have a mission, and we are ready to take this organization far.
And we are advising the tenants who are here and anybody who has rented here in Oka that don't be intimidated. Usisumbuliwe na mtu yoyote. Wewe ukiwa wewe ni tenant wetu hapa, Sisi ndio bona fide directors, and this is in the new management of Okai, which is now recognized by the government.
Police in Meru County are investigating a suspected arson attack at Kipchoge Day and Boarding Primary School. Meru County Commissioner Jacob Ouma and the county security team who toured the school a day after a fire broke out, damaging property of unknown value, says no student was injured during the fire. 8 suspects were arrested following the 3 a.m. inferno and charged with arson at a court in Kubu. The 8 denied charges before senior resident magistrate R. Oringa and were ordered to appear in court on August 15th when the case will be mentioned. The incident comes amid a land dispute between the Catholic Church and the Meru County government over the ownership of a 33-acre piece of land.
We believe today with this kind of visit, high-profile visit of security, we believe that nobody will tamper with any other property of this school.
Nikiwa County Commissioner wa Meru, sitokubali visa vya jinai jinsi hii kuendelea, na yeyote ambaye amehusika katika kufadhili vitendo vya uhuni, vitendo vya uhalifu, atashughulikiwa kwa mujibu wa sheria.
Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. We are taking our first commercial break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Zinasonga sambamba na matukio yanavojiri.
Kuyajua hayo mbali na hamasa zilizopo kwingineko, shirika la utangazaji KBC limejitolea kuhakikisha ubora wa matangazo yasiyo na chuku.
Darubini huangazia mengi ya kusini na kaskazini, mashariki na magharibi, na kukuwasilishia kwa njia stahiki.
Ufasaha, usawa, uketo, pasipo kuegemea upande wowote.
Iwapo hutakishaka kwa unachoarifiwa, Darubini itakidhi mahitaji yako. Jina langu ni Nancy Onyancha.
Na mimi ni Harith Salim.
Jina langu ni Gladys Mungai.
Mimi ni Ahmed Jumabalo.
Nami ni Sarafina Robi.
KBC, angazo la Wakenya.
Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. Welcome back. Residents of Mpeketoni, Lamu County are decrying the continuous diminishing of Lake Kenyatta, calling on the government to step in and protect it. The shrinking of the crucial aquifer is attributed to human activities, particularly intensive farming around its shores. Significant silting has been a buildup of sediments obstructing the natural flow and quality of the aquifer, as well as its capacity to recharge wells that supply water to households in Lamu West Sub-County.
Wote ambao wako kwa ile riparian land wakiweza kuondoa, basi ndio tutaweza kuhifadhi, tutajua lake mipaka yake.
Wito wangu kwa jamii, tumeketi katika haya mazingira ya lake, tumejua manufaa yake, lakini hatujazingatia madhara ambayo tunayofanya yanafanya hatupati chochote katika katika ile lake. Mimi wito wangu ni kwamba wanajamii tuje pamoja, tushikane, tuelimishane na tujue umuhimu wa yale mazingira tunapokaa.
County government ya Lamu inafaa ishughulikie vilivyo bila kuingiza siasa ama mzaa kulingana na ile hali iliyoko. Kama miaka mingine ijayo 2-3 kama hali itaendelea ile, Mpeketoni nzima scheme kutakuwa hakuna maji, sababu Lake Kenyatta inategemewa na visima vyote kurecharge.
Na hizo mainjia ambayo inakuja na maji ama mvua ikinyesha, hata zile za ng'ombe inaingia lake, ndio mpaka lake inakuwa mlima. Hata sisi kifika wakati kiangazi huwa tunaathirika. Lake kikauka na hizo wanyama wanataka mahali pa kunywa maji, ni moja ambao wanaathirika.
Tana River and Lamu counties are set to sign a memorandum of understanding with counties living along the River Tana Basin to safeguard the region's wetlands. The two counties normally bear the brunt of floods caused by water released from dams and are also affected by pollution caused by industries set up upstream that pour waste along River Tana, which flows downstream. Speaking in Malindi, Lamu Governor Issa Timami said the counties are in partnership with the conservation organizations to ensure they are safeguarded and seek to compel the other 7 counties along the River Tana Basin in a water protocol that will enable sustainable use of the water resources. The meeting brought together senior officials from the Tana River and Lamu County governments and officials from Nature Kenya and Wetlands International.
Organizations such as Kengen should step in as part of their CSR to help both Tana River and Lamu counties restore the damaged infrastructure. Apart from roads, our health facilities, our schools, and livelihoods of our people are very adversely affected. So those are some of the issues that we wanted to ventilate. The other thing is we are doing here, what we are doing is a joint planning for sustainable use of our water resources.
The county government of Narok has commissioned the construction of Masantare Olulunga Road, which will be upgraded to bitumen standard at a value of 85 billion shillings. The governor of Narok County, Patrick Olentutu, noted that the road will ease the movement of Narok residents and motorists to major towns.
Kila pahali tukasema tutengeneze barabara kilomita 20. Pale kwa loop tuko na barabara ambayo tunataka kutengeneza ambayo pia itakuwa karibu kilomita 11. Tumeweka budget yetu ya county government, itatukosa about 85 million kutengeneza hii barabara.
Mimi ni dereva wa bodaboda, nafanya route ya Junction to Lolonga. Barabara hii imekuwa mbaya, shocks imeisha, so tunamwomba tutengeneze.
Saa hii barabara iko expensive sana, unaweza lipa double juu mtu gari yake haiwezi kimbia.
Young people have been encouraged to harness their creativity and innovation to tackle unemployment. Nyawira Kiruri, the director of arrangements at the Youth for Sustainable Development Organization, has urged the youth to leverage their technological skills to seek employment opportunities across diverse sectors, including agriculture. Speaking at the Youth International Day celebrations in Machakos, she, along with her fellow partners, called on the government to actively involve young people in the nation-building process.
We have young people here doing amazing things in agribusiness, in arts, in creative arts, in service industry, in sexual reproductive health. We have so many young organizations doing a lot. And at Youth for Sustainable Development, because we stand for youth empowerment, and we felt like bringing all these exhibitors together and giving them an opportunity to do this will even be placing them on a platform where not just Machakos County, but the whole world gets to see what Machakos County has.
Labour and Social Protection Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua has met with the Kenya National Union of Teachers on the implementation of the 2021 collective bargaining agreement to try and avert teacher strike before schools resume in 2 weeks. The CS reiterated the need to always have industrial harmony and to have continued engagement in the labour sector to avoid strikes which only add to lower productivity in the country. The union had threatened to have its members down tools, citing delay in implementing the second phase of the 2021 collective bargaining agreement, operation of the teachers' medical scheme, the non-remittance of SACCO and loan deductions, and delays in the payment of retirement benefits for teachers exiting the service.
You will handle this matter chap as it goes. So I want to appreciate you and your team. And I want to promise the teachers of this country that we are taking every other step into consideration to have their matters addressed.
I have promised to take it up as a fair and arbitrator, to talk to the other side, which is the Teacher Service Commission and the Ministry of Education, to come up with solutions of issues that we can solve together. So I want to say that people should know that now we are changing the models of operating. We sort out issues before they become big.
Youths in Homa Bay County are leveraging digital platforms to help them raise awareness and educate the community on social issues like sexual and gender-based violence and enhance civic engagement. Speaking in Oyugis during the International Youth Day Forum, the young people said the digital tools have enabled them to reach a broader audience, which has aided in sharing critical information with the view of advocating for change.
Most of the cases are not being reported, and we urge everybody to use the technological platforms to report these cases to help us have adequate data.
Up to this point, there are a lot of propagandas in the social media, so we are just urging our youth to ensure that whatever information they are passing down to the youth there in the grassroots levels should be something that is so credible.
We believe that from the discussions, we are able to forge forward on being more productive and to apply on the technological ways of production within the community so that we can grow up.
Welcome to Channel 1 Business. International investors are targeting the demand for high-quality building materials in Kenya's construction industry by establishing construction materials production facilities in Kenya's special economic zones. Speaking during the launch of a new workshop by Euroform, a new producer of aluminium metal works at Tatu City Industrial Park, Tatu City Senior Project Manager Amit Joshi said the launch of services by Euroform will ensure availability of export quality products and services for those involved in construction. Business based at special economic zones benefit from VAT, zero rating import and stamp duty exemptions, and 10% tax for the next 10 years. The government is working closely with the private sector to improve the business environment and is doing business in Kenya. Speaking during the opening of a smart energy solutions factory in Machakos, Industry Principal Secretary Dr. Juma Mukhwana said the government is keen on leveraging public-private partnerships to grow the contribution of the manufacturing sector to the economy.
Global, a Chinese-based firm specializing in smart energy solutions, has opened a smart meter manufacturing factory in Athi River, Machakos County, becoming its 10th overseas processing plant under the chained group. The factory has a production capacity of 200,000 meters annually, which officials plan to double in a year's time.
Our strategy for the whole group is localizations and also globalizations in different countries, including Kenya and African countries. That's our strategy now. Maybe we want to try to catch this market.
Industry Principal Secretary Dr. Juma Mukhwana says a government is keen on more public-private partnerships aimed at growing the manufacturing sector.
We are promoting the construction of industrial parks so that we cut the cost, so that every investor doesn't have to buy land, fence it off, and spend many years trying to set up a factory. So what we are trying to do is to create industrial spaces where you are able to plug and play.
For this particular industry, we have ensured that their products have been tested and they have passed the Kenyan standard, which is for this particular product is an East African standard.
The smart meter manufacturing factory will primarily serve the Kenyan market and supply products to the broader East African community. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Kenya is set to host another global conference next month in Mombasa. Delegates from at least 22 countries will converge for the Technology Information Confederation Africa Conference to discuss strengthening access to digital infrastructure, harnessing emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, big data analytics, robotics, and virtual reality, as well address cybersecurity and data protection. ICT and marketing professionals, policy makers, innovators, and the academia have confirmed participation in the conference.
Had quite a range of investment efforts. We have a number of ventures that are discernible within our ICT spectrum, and I believe there are more and more investments that are in the way. What becomes crucial is for the country to have a good policy framework that nurtures the environment for more and more investment, because ICT is very promising, but remember, we say that ICT is just a tool. You have to appropriate it in a particular way for it to yield results that are intended.
Cannot ever overemphasize the significance of technology in marketing at the moment. It's about probably between 50 to 70% of marketing. Digital marketing has become part and parcel of marketing. So for us to meet together annually and have these discussions together is could not have been more timely.
Kenya has entered into a strategic partnership with Chinese government to provide $2 million funding to increase research and innovation on production of various climate change resistant seed varieties. Here now is Frederick Moke with the details.
Kenya, like many other African countries, is grappling with severe impact of climate change, including erratic rainfall patterns, prolonged droughts, and devastating floods. These extreme weather conditions have significantly affected food production of crops such as maize and wheat, which are staple food for millions of Kenyans. The development of resilient crop varieties is therefore essential to ensure consistent food supply and to reduce vulnerability of smallholder farmers who depend on these crops for their livelihoods.
Been able to come up with varieties that are tolerant and they are resistant, and farmers now have access to these varieties because they've been released formally by KEFIS. And so with that, farmers having access to these tolerant disease and pest tolerant varieties, it makes them have hope where they had no hope in terms of these diseases.
The most important thing is then formulate viable proposals based on this strategic framework, project proposals for funding. And I'm sure that once we have this document and sound proposals are made, we can, over the course of next 6 months, submit these proposals to proper agencies and get additional investment to actually implement well-focused plans.
Speaking during the Africa-China Summit Science Forum in Nairobi, International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center Director General Bram Aguvat said Kenya can accelerate the development of maize and wheat varieties by attracting more funding with agricultural partners.
Doing here is saying this is what we can do. This is what we can help solving. So many million of farmers, so many million of consumers will be better off. Now we have the technical capacity, we have the partnership. If we show that, I am convinced that we can attract the resources from Kenya, from private sector, from foundation, international investors, including China, including other countries.
Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Conservationists have petitioned Tanzania to help address the issue of trophy hunting of elephants along the border with Kenya. They argue a move by Tanzanian authorities to issue hunting permits for super tuskers in the greater Amboseli, West Kilimanjaro elephant population puts a risk on the mammal's survival, threatens wildlife conservation efforts, and will affect tourism earnings.
The greater Amboseli West Kilimanjaro elephant population is estimated at 2,000, whose range spans between Kenya and Tanzania. While Kenya banned trophy hunting in 1977, the activity is still legal in Tanzania, subject to getting relevant licenses. Conservationists fear that the latest issuance of trophy hunting permits by the Tanzanian government threatens to erode gains gained over the last 3 decades after a moratorium on trophy hunting of this transboundary elephant population was agreed between the two nations.
These elephants are unique. They are some of the largest tusked elephants in the world. They are few, they are a unique genetic population, and they range across the international border.
We only have 10 super tusker elephants left in the Amboseli population. We cannot be the generation that allows these super tuskers to die. We must be the generation that comes together to say we have to protect them, that comes together and say we have to save them.
The petition emphasizes the significant ecological and economic value of the Amboseli West Kilimanjaro elephant population, a unique genetic reservoir that transcends national borders.
I wish all the stakeholders, as into the conservation of animals and probably elephant is concerned, should join together and come up with a strategic on how to protect these creatures, because we may end up losing these creatures.
Experts warn that trophy hunting could wipe out super tuskers within the next 3 years.
Kwa sababu ni mnyama na ajui anaenda kukula wapi, wasiowe ndovu. Kwa sababu poli inagwana na hii ya Kenya na wakioa watafanya makosa.
Only 10 elephants with tusks weighing between 45 kilograms each remain in the Amboseli ecosystem, which has the highest density of these mammals.
Wanapo cross kwenda Tanzania, hapo ndo wanaenda kuuliwa. So you can imagine the pain we feel as elephant trust. Juu sasa imagine una protect kitu but kuna wengine wana encourage mahali. Unangeta.
Regina Manyara reporting for Lunchtime News.
You're watching the Lunchtime News. In the world of sports. Tokyo 2020 Olympic champion Eliud Kipchoge has not ruled out competing in more marathons in future, despite not finishing the Olympic marathon at Paris 2024. Kipchoge was among several athletes who did not cross the line in Paris in the 42-kilometer race won by Tamira Tola on Saturday morning. In that marathon, Kenya only secured a bronze medal won by Benson Kipruto, who finished third behind Bashir Abdi of Belgium. While on arrival in Nairobi, Kipchoge said that Kenya has great upcoming athletes who will continue to dominate the marathon in coming years. Kenya finished 17th with 11 medals at the Paris 2024 Olympics.
For all of us to think together, but we need to bring all our thoughts together. Beyond the line, respect all the ideologies. You know, they say all of us are idiots. But the level of idiocracy, we need to respect. So all of us, we are the same, but we need to respect our thoughts.
Miramas ilikuwa iko juu. Unity kulikuwa iko juu. So kufika kule, ikawa tena tumekaa sana kidogo. So ikatu affect kidogo. Kwa hivyo, ana nyinyi wote mnajua kwamba kama mtu amekimbia PP yake ama personal best, hakuna njia nyingine unaweza kufanya kama umefika kiwango yenye hujawahi kufika. Means they were trained and they were prepared to represent us.
And on that note, we come to the end of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your feedback on our social media platforms. Quick acknowledgements. Ezra Lagati watching KBC Channel 1 from Eldoret. We have Delila Muraya, John Robinson, and Robert Ocheng. Thank you so much. The list could go on and on and on. For more details on ad items and many more, do log on to www.kbc.co.ke. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. On sign language interpretation, we have Brad Muraru. Good afternoon.